Hello and welcome back to the Options Professor podcast. This is Damien, and today is Friday, July 17th. I'm going to cover the recap for the week. And if you remember Sunday's podcast, I called out a few stocks. So we'll just take a look at how they did and how my forecasting of those stocks had played out. And so if we look at just the SPY, where it ended up for the week, or if you remember, on Sunday, I had called out the fact that the futures were going higher. And sure enough, Monday morning, the SPY moved higher, but then sold off at the end of the day, and actually a pretty big sell off. And from Tuesday, then it moved from 311 up to closing today at just over or just around 322. It looks like it closed at 321.72. And so from Tuesday morning to Friday, it's been straight up. Monday was an up and down day. Um, so overall, the market seemed to still trend up. Hopefully, you all had a profitable week. I know I certainly had a really good week in some of the trades I made. So let's take a look at one of the stocks that called out Sunday, which was Home Depot. And Home Depot at the time Friday was trading or closed at just around, let me see here. So it closed at just under 250. And I had said that I expected it to run maybe to 255. And sure enough, if you look at the chart for Home Depot, we opened up Monday pretty high, came back down to the 250, and then ran straight up and closed today at 260.38. And so I think this stock is still strong. There's still a lot of room for this to move up. We had now that it broke above 260, I would expect this to maybe run up to 263. But we'll take a look at that the trade forecast on the Sunday podcast. Right now, I'm looking at how that prediction went, and sure enough, it went up high. Now, I did make a trade in this. I sold a put spread at 245, 240, and collected enough credit to make this trade a 40% winner for me this week. So overall, great. That was a very profitable one. Anytime you take 40% profit in 1 week, I call that a good trade. The other stock I was looking at Sunday was SWK. That's Stanley Black & Decker. And if you remember Friday or Sunday night when we were looking at this stock, it was trading below 140. And I thought maybe it could run to about 145. It did run to 145 quickly. So by Tuesday, we're already trading at 145. And fast forward to today, closing at 153. So very strong move. If you'd bought calls in this, it would have been extremely profitable. Unfortunately, I did not buy calls. I decided to sell an Iron Condor on this one, the 130 at the bottom side and 150 on the top side. And obviously blew through the 150. Lucky for me, I still have another week left in this trade. So we'll see how this does over the next week. And next Friday, I'll update you on where we're at. But that move straight up to 153 was just a lot faster than I had expected it to go. And then another stock I was watching or mentioned towards the end was Tesla. I did say Tesla had room to move up, and it did look like it had momentum to still go up. So we closed off last Friday at around 1,500, and Monday morning it made a huge move up to almost $1,800. That was just a crazy fast move. Since then, it's come back down to settle at 1,500. We do have earnings next week in Tesla, and that could be why it's just settling there. I'd expect some pretty big moves, either up or down, for this stock as it goes through earnings. So this is one to watch next week. I believe, let me check here, earnings are on July 22nd. All right. Other earnings coming up next week are Microsoft on the same day, July 22nd, Coca-Cola on July 21st, Snap on July 21st, and Lockheed Martin on the 21st. So there's some pretty big names coming up for earnings next week. One of the stocks I looked at Sunday that I thought might have been bearish was VMware, VMW. And when we looked at it Sunday night, the stock was trading about 145. I thought maybe it could come down to 135, and it did hit 135 on Tuesday. Made a jump back up to 144, but settled today, closing at 140. So it did make that expected move down and to the level I thought it was going to go to, just a lot quicker than I thought it was, but it still hit that 135, actually a low of 134.70 on Tuesday. So I'd still be watching this. I'll come back and take a look at it Sunday to see if I see it going up or down, and maybe I can make a trade on it. Some of the other stocks that I was in prior to the beginning of this week was UAL, United Airlines, and this was one I was looking at to hold the 33 level. It sold a 33 put in UAL and collected, on a 33.30 spread. I collected $1 for that spread, and so that would be roughly at 50% profit on full profit. I closed it out early though. Once I saw this stock drop below 33, it had me worried. I waited until yesterday when it finally jumped above 33 and went to a high of 36.70, and I got out and took a 42% profit. So gave up a little bit of that profit, but I wanted to lock it in, not knowing if the stock was going to come back down to 33 and retest it. The news on a potential vaccine for COVID had pushed it higher. After the Delta earnings, it did have me worried though. And so I was fortunate enough to get out of this one with a 40% winner in maybe a 3-week holding time. Another stock that I was in earlier too, before the Sunday podcast, was Zillow. And so Zillow, around 2 weeks ago, I had saw that it looked like it was holding above the 57 price. It at the time when I did the trade, it was trading around 60. So I had sold again puts at the 57 level, and it dipped below 57 for a very short time, 2 days, but then hopped right back up and hit a high of $66 on last Tuesday. And I thought I had nothing to worry about, but earlier this week, it retested the 57, even dipped below it for a little bit, and then made a run back from 57 up to 64.25, where it closed today. So this was a real good trade for me as well. I made almost 50% with the credit spread that I did at the 57 level, holding it for about, I want to say about 3 weeks. So overall, a really good week for me. I did enter a couple of other trades that were closed out as well. The same week. I did let's see here, another put credit spread on APT. So let's take a look. Oops. APT. And really I was watching this 17 level. I wanted to try to maybe sell some credit at 16 level, but there just wasn't enough credit there. So I moved this up to 17 level, and actually yesterday sold a 17 16 put spread. Collected, looks like I collected about 50 cents for that. So a $1, or sorry, 40 cents for that. So a $1 wide spread with a 40-cent credit was almost a 50-50 risk reward ratio. And it jumped, as you can see, from yesterday to today, went from $17 all the way up to $21.58. And this morning, I had most of my profit, so closed that out for a 44% win. So overall, a really good week for me. A lot of 40% winners with anywhere from a 1 to 3 week hold. That I think right now I've been selling a lot of credit spreads. I don't normally do a lot of them, but for some reason, I guess with the implied volatility, with the increase in premiums, I'm just getting really good profit to risk ratio, and they've been doing really well for me. So this week overall, really good. I'm hoping to hoping to carry through that momentum into next week. Thank you for listening to this podcast. And if you'd like to see my scanner and scanning for stocks, tune back in Sunday night. I'll have a few more stocks that I'd be looking at to trade next week. Thanks. Have a great weekend.